Virginia is once again at the center of American politics, drawing the eyes of the nation as it prepares for a pivotal election year. The Commonwealth, with its rich history and diverse electorate, is poised to play a crucial role in shaping the political landscape for years to come. The 2025 governor's race is already shaping up as a national bellwether, with both parties pouring resources and attention into the state. Political strategists and analysts are watching closely, knowing that what happens here could foreshadow the direction of the country ahead of the 2026 midterms and even the 2028 presidential race. For the first time in Virginia's history, voters are guaranteed to elect a female governor, either Democrat Abigail Spanberger, a former CIA officer and current congresswoman, or Republican Winsome Earle-Sears, the state's current lieutenant governor and a Marine Corps veteran. This historic milestone is energizing voters across the political spectrum, but this contest is more than a local fight. It's an early referendum on the national mood, especially the lingering influence of Donald Trump and the future of both major parties. The outcome here will be dissected by political observers as a signal of where the country stands on key issues. Virginia's off-year elections have a long history of predicting national trends, often serving as a preview of what's to come. This makes the 2025 race a critical test for Democrats and Republicans alike, as both sides seek momentum heading into the next election cycle. The outcome will send a powerful signal about voter sentiment on the economy, abortion rights, education, and the very state of American democracy. Issues like inflation, reproductive rights, and public school policies are at the forefront of voters' minds, making this race a microcosm of the national debate. Spanberger and Earle-Sears offer starkly different visions for Virginia's future, reflecting the deep divisions that define American politics today. Their debates and campaign events highlight contrasting approaches to leadership, policy, and the role of government. Spanberger, a moderate Democrat, is focusing her campaign on suburban voters, emphasizing pragmatic solutions, bipartisanship, and protecting individual rights. She's appealing to those who want stability and incremental progress. Earle-Sears, on the other hand, is a conservative, populist Republican who champions traditional values, limited government, and a strong stance on law and order. Her campaign is energizing the party's base, especially in rural and exurban areas. Their personal stories and leadership styles give voters a clear and compelling choice, making this one of the most closely watched races in the country. As the campaigns heat up, the fundamental questions facing Virginians mirror those facing the nation. What kind of leadership do we want? Which values should guide our future, and how do we bridge the divides that threaten our democracy? Money is already playing a decisive role, with fundraising trends revealing each side's strengths, priorities, and the national interest in this race. Outside groups and national donors are flooding Virginia with cash, hoping to tip the scales. The road to Richmond is paved with dollars, determination, and high stakes. The winner here may not only shape Virginia's future, but also set the tone for the entire country as we look ahead to 2026 and beyond. Virginia's political crossroads are embodied by two trailblazing women, each with sharply contrasting backgrounds and visions for the state's future. Their stories reflect not just personal ambition, but the broader transformation and tension within Virginia itself. Abigail Spanberger, a former CIA officer and current U.S. representative, has become a symbol of Virginia's suburban shift. As a pragmatic center-left Democrat, she's known for her focus on bipartisan solutions and her willingness to work across the aisle. Spanberger's approach is grounded in practical problem-solving, aiming to address the everyday concerns of families in rapidly changing communities. Winsome Earle-Sears, the current lieutenant governor, brings a very different perspective. A Jamaican immigrant and Marine veteran, she made history as the first woman of color elected statewide in Virginia. Earle-Sears is a staunch conservative championing faith, liberty, and the core values of the GOP base. Her life story resonates with voters who value resilience, patriotism, and a commitment to traditional ideals. Spanberger's strength lies in the diverse, fast-growing suburbs of Northern Virginia, Richmond, and Hampton Roads. Here, voters are increasingly focused on issues like education, affordable health care, and gun safety. These communities are home to a mix of young professionals, families, and immigrants, all seeking stability and opportunity. She aims to unite moderates, independents, and Democrats who are looking for steady, thoughtful leadership on kitchen table issues. Spanberger's campaign emphasizes listening to constituents and finding common ground, hoping to bridge divides in a polarized era. Earle-Sears, meanwhile, draws fervent support from rural and ex-urban Virginia, where voters are deeply concerned about economic freedom, gun rights, and preserving traditional values. Her message resonates with those who feel left behind by rapid change and who seek a return to what they see as core American principles. Her campaign energizes conservatives who feel threatened by progressive policies, positioning herself as the natural heir to Governor Youngkin's 2021 victory. Earle-Sears promises to defend individual liberties and push back against what she calls government overreach. The contrast between these two candidates is stark, mirroring not only Virginia's internal divisions, but also the broader political and cultural rifts playing out across America. Their campaigns highlight the competing visions for the state's identity and future direction. As Election Day approaches, Virginia's voters face a clear and consequential choice between two distinct paths, two compelling stories, and two very different futures for the Commonwealth. Abigail Spanberger's national security background shapes her image as a serious, competent leader. She's a moderate Democrat focused on workforce development, lowering family costs, and investing in infrastructure. Spanberger champions affordable health care, abortion rights, and common-sense gun safety. Her smooth path to the nomination let her consolidate support and fundraise early. She highlights bipartisan cooperation to win over independents and moderate Republicans in key suburbs. Spanberger faces criticism from progressives for being too moderate, and from Republicans who tie her to Biden and national Democrats. Her challenge: energize the Democratic base while appealing to swing voters in a divided state. Winsome Earle-Sears' journey is a remarkable one, beginning as a Jamaican immigrant who came to America in search of opportunity. Her service as a Marine not only shaped her sense of discipline and duty, but also gave her a deep appreciation for the values of hard work and patriotism that she now champions. As a small business owner, she understands firsthand the challenges faced by entrepreneurs and working families. This background is central to her appeal, allowing her to connect with voters who value economic opportunity and self-reliance. Breaking barriers, Earle-Sears became the first black woman ever elected lieutenant governor in Virginia's history. Her victory brought a fresh, diverse face to the GOP, inspiring many who had never seen themselves represented in such a role. Earle-Sears is known as a fierce conservative, unafraid to speak her mind and take bold stances on controversial issues. She is a staunch supporter of gun rights and a vocal advocate for school choice, believing parents should have more control over their children's education. Earle-Sears also champions tax cuts and deregulation, arguing that reducing government interference will help businesses grow and create jobs across Virginia. Her combative style and willingness to engage in the culture wars have energized the Republican base. She opposes abortion and is a sharp critic of what she calls woke policies, positioning herself as a defender of traditional values. Yet, to win statewide, she must also moderate her image and reach out to suburban voters, who often decide Virginia's elections and may be wary of hardline positions. Democrats are quick to paint her as too extreme for Virginia, highlighting her most controversial stances in campaign ads and public debates. Her alignment with former President Trump could be a liability in a purple state like Virginia, where voters are deeply divided and party loyalty is often in flux. Earle-Sears' challenge is clear. She must keep her conservative base fired up and motivated to turn out at the polls, while also convincing swing voters and independents that she can govern for all Virginians, not just her party's core supporters. The stakes are high for both Earle-Sears and the GOP, as the outcome could shape the future direction of Virginia politics for years to come. Fundraising is a crucial measure of campaign strength in Virginia's governor's race. Abigail Spanberger leads with over $15 million raised, giving her a major organizational and advertising edge. Winsome Earle-Sears trails with $5.8 million, forcing her campaign to rely more on grassroots efforts and outside support. Spanberger's war chest is fueled by small-dollar donors, major Democratic PACs, and national groups focused on abortion rights. Earle-Sears depends on wealthy conservative donors, business groups, and the Republican Governors Association. The fundraising gap pressures Earle-Sears to prove her race is competitive enough for more national GOP investment. Money shapes the narrative, reach, and momentum of both campaigns. The financial battle may ultimately decide who controls the governor's mansion. Spanberger's fundraising advantage comes from an early start and a unified Democratic base. By clearing the primary field, she tapped national donor networks months before Earle-Sears could. Abortion rights have become a powerful motivator, drawing millions from pro-choice groups and grassroots donors. Spanberger's moderate image and CIA background attract business-friendly and centrist donors. She's seen as a safe bet for national Democrats, making it easy for major donors to invest. Earle-Sears' alignment with the Trump wing energizes the base but deters some traditional donors. With national GOP resources stretched thin, Earle-Sears must prove she can close the gap to stay competitive. The shadow of Donald Trump looms large over Virginia's race. Democrats tie Earle-Sears to Trump, framing her as an extension of the MAGA agenda, unpopular with many Virginia voters. Earle-Sears must balance energizing Trump's base with not alienating moderates and independents. The race tests whether Republicans can win in a purple state with a Trump-aligned candidate. A win for Earle-Sears would validate the MAGA movement. A loss would signal its limits in swing states. Spanberger offers a contrast: stability, competence, and a focus on results over culture wars. Her campaign targets voters wary of Trump-era politics. The outcome will reveal much about the national mood heading into 2026. Polls show a tight race, with Spanberger holding a narrow lead over Earle-Sears. Spanberger dominates in urban and suburban areas, especially among women, college-educated and minority voters. Earle-Sears leads in rural Virginia, relying on white, non-college and evangelical voters. The key, a small group of undecided voters, who will decide the outcome. Spanberger's path is maximizing turnout in Democratic strongholds. Earle-Sears must run up margins in rural areas and win over independents. The economy and inflation favor Republicans, but abortion rights give Spanberger a potent issue. The race may hinge on which issue dominates voters' minds in November. Both campaigns are working to frame the election around their strengths. The final weeks will be a battle for the middle. Virginia's governor's race is a national bellwether, offering the first glimpse of post-2024 political trends. A Spanberger win would signal that Democrats' focus on abortion rights and moderation works, especially in the suburbs. It would embolden Democrats and suggest Trump-style conservatism is a liability in swing states. An Earle-Sears victory would show that a Trump-aligned Republican can win by energizing the base and focusing on the economy and education. The outcome will shape party strategies for the 2026 midterms. Watch fundraising, ad wars, and polling among independents and suburban voters. They'll decide the race. Virginia's choice will echo across a divided nation. The stakes couldn't be higher for both parties.